It's showtime at Homestead, Miami.
Andre Baranowskis at the line, steals it in the Indy 250.
Look at the back, in trouble, and I go. Gordon to the wall, jumps right around.
Side by side on the final lap, coming to the checkered flag.
Steve Morgan, the last lap pass, and the victory in Las Vegas.
Welcome to the NOFSRL. A long winter's nap is about to end. The sun begins to rise. The horses begin to awaken. In any good story, there are moments that define it.
It's gonna be Turner that wins the Daytona 500.
Every turn, every climax, every unexpected twist.
Jordan Carter in the outside wall hard.
All leading up to one moment.
Fitzwater, your Daytona 500 champion.
The completion of a marathon of immense speed, determination, and failure, all leading up to a conclusion that the naked eye may not be able to decipher.
Nicholas Samadio wins the Daytona 500.
Today, one driver will rise above the rest and be etched into history as a champion, surviving all the trials this hallowed ground will throw.
He is taking a wild tumble in the number 23 in the catch fence.
It all comes down to one moment. This is the Daytona 500.
Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 1 in season number 9 of the NOFSRL Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We are here at the World Center of Racing for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. 50 laps around this 2.5-mile speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. And every year we come here to the hallowed grounds of the Daytona International Speedway to kick off this series. And we do it once again here on February 15th, 2020. We are so excited for this year in the NOFSRL, and we are very glad you're with us here today to help us celebrate the beginning of the new season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And what a speed weeks we have had so far as well. The Meliella Smooth Fest won by Matt Dallio, an absolutely wild race like it always is. Both dual races were wild races, and 2 true rookies in Napa Fan won with Nikolai Sykes and Brett Sierra. But Alex, all of that is behind us, and it's now time to focus on the main event, the Daytona 500. What does it take to win this race with 50 laps of action and now a scheduled pit stop needed for the first time ever in this event?
Drafting. Drafting is what you really need to focus on here at Daytona. This is the biggest race of the year, the Great American Race at the World Center of Racing. And as you already said, nice little stat there saying like it's the hollow grounds. And Daytona is a hollow grounds, the pavement filled with memories and such in the NOFSRL. But to do it today, you got to survive 50 laps in the draft, and you also got to figure out how to make the pit window exact. A lot of these teams, with a lot of this whole drafting deal going on, and with the scheduled pit stop, if it happens under caution, you're good to go. But if it's a green flag one, you have to figure out when your group is going to pit in. Otherwise, you're going to be out of luck and out of a chance of winning.
It is definitely going to be interesting to see how those pit stops affect today's race, but there's also another factor in this race, the new package, and we saw this in the duel, we saw this especially yesterday. It's a little bit harder to make a pass on a guy, especially if you don't have any help, which means that it's going to take a little bit more skill to win this race than it has in years past. We're not going to see that cycle through the field like we had before. Guys are going to be staying out front for longer periods of time than they have in the past. So, Alex, with a lot of the guys in the field, some being true rookies, some being here for every single Daytona 500, how do you think they're going to tackle this new package, knowing that it's going to be a little bit harder to work your way through the field here in this race?
Well, I think to the seasoned veterans that have been here for every single Chick-fil-A Cup Series race, it's going to be a little more difficult for them to adapt to this new package. However, to the rookies, I feel like they might be able to adapt to this pretty quickly because, it's the first time they're ever going to be on this Daytona Speedway in these cars in this package. So I think for the rookies, it's going to be a little easier and a little quicker to adapt. But for the veterans, it's going to be a little bit because they've never ran on this package before, especially with these cars on this particular track.
So we're going to have to see how it all plays out. It is a 50-lap race. We're also extending the length of the race for the first time since Season 4, and because of that, that's why we're going to have that scheduled cycle of pit stops. Of course, we race with heavy hearts as well. We mentioned this in the Mellow Yellow Smooth Fest, but a few weeks ago, the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna and everyone aboard the helicopter that crashed in California roughly 3 weeks ago. Our thoughts and prayers go to all of the families of the victims in that accident, and also to the family of John Andretti, the Andretti family, losing a racing legend also during that same week. It was a very tough week a couple weeks ago, and that's why we race. We race to commemorate them. We race because we love to do it, and we want to put on a good show for them. A lot of the teams have commemorated their schemes to Kobe Bryant. You'll see the Lakers colors throughout the day. There's also a patch on select cars here today as well commemorating Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. But the butterflies are starting to kick in for these guys. It's a 50-lap race. They know what's ahead of them. And there's also one more factor that we haven't talked about that's been here for every Daytona 500, and that's the big one. Where do you want to be on this racetrack to avoid the big one that is inevitable to happen in this race?
Honestly, you can either be in the front or the back because you never know when the big one is going to occur, and you never know where it's going to happen. If it happens in the front, it's always good to be in the back. It's going to be able for you to check up, make sure that everything is fine, but all depends on how far back you are. If you're like a couple rows back and everyone's not checking up in the right time, you get slammed, taken out, and that would really ruin your day. Or if you're up front and it happens in the back, it's better to be up front in that case. But you really don't know where it's going to strike at the best opportune moment. So today, I think for the drivers and for us, we have to figure that out for ourselves.
And we will figure that out very soon. We're ready to get these guys to roll off for the 9th time in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Daytona 500. And we're ready to get this one started. Are you ready, Alex? It's the Daytona 500, man.
I'm definitely ready. I'm hyped up. Let's get these cars ready to roll off and get ready to go. I can't wait for this race to start.
And it is going to be one heck of a race here today at the Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. It's the Great American Race, and we are ready for these drivers to roll off. If you saw qualifying last week, you know that rookie Catlin Downey clocked in the fastest time in single-car qualifications alongside him, locking on the front row, the number 79 of Daniel McMillan. In the dual races on Thursday night, a couple of true rookies to Napa fan. Nicolay Sykes in the number 6, one dual number 1, and the 04 of Brett Sierra winning dual number 2. Row number 3, a couple of veterans, Alexander Rowe. Moving over to North State Racing for season number 9 is alongside unchartered driver Seth Cole, driving the number 98 in his 3rd Daytona 500. Defending Chick-fil-A Cup Series champion Nathan Baird's alongside the number 12 of Nathan Faden. And then it's the 68 of Ryan Durrani and the 81 of Ace Garcia. Durrani's first Daytona 500, Ace Garcia's 4th. Go through the whole field and make sure everyone is rolling off just fine. And Alex, you know the drivers who are in this field here today. Which one of these 42 drivers will be in victory lane for the Season 9 Chick-fil-A Cup Series Daytona 500?
I'm going with my main man here, Jesse Turner, for this one. I believe that he's got the opportunity to get the win today, and I will definitely believe that he'll get the win right here. But don't count out number 75 of Matt Dallio either. He won the Smooth Fest, and number 75 is quite lucky with a couple different reasons. But you know what? I'm super pumped for this. I'm ready for this race. Let's get it underway.
It is going to be the biggest race of the season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season number 9. We have been waiting for a very long time for this moment to arrive, but points-paying races are finally back in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and the 9th season is about to commence. Here we go! The pace car has pulled off, and we're green flag racing in the Daytona 500! Coming off of turn number 4 on the outside lane, Daniel McMillan will lead the first lap of the year in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. A bonus point towards the championship for him right there. But Alex, that is not at all what these drivers are thinking about here today in the Daytona 500. They are thinking about getting this race victory.
Oh yeah, that is without a doubt the possibility right here, that they're all thinking about getting this one win. This is one of the bigger events that are within the season, not as its own standalone event. So, you know, a lot of these drivers, they're wanting to get that win. You look at Alexander Rowe in the 25 with the 16 behind him. They're really hunting towards the front here.
Great push there from defending champion Nathan Baird as he pushed Alexander Rowe straight to the race lead. And Rowe's going to lead lap number 2 here in the Daytona 500. Here comes Ryan Durrani. And it looks like, at least at this moment, that the inside lane is still the place to be. The outside lane not getting formed up like we thought it would. So, at least at this point, that package really isn't doing what it was intended to do. But I think at some point we're going to see one of these drivers peek out ahead and continue to lead this race. Just a matter of who that driver is going to be. Christian Vargas, unchartered driver to the inside of Ryan Durrani for the race lead. Help from Thomas Troxell. Great to see Thomas Troxell make his first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series start. Of course, his brother Abe Troxell almost won the Season 3 Chick-fil-A Cup Series championship all the way back in 2015. But Alex, great to see his brother come into the Chick-fil-A Cup Series after having a rather successful career in other Napa Fan Series.
Oh yeah, the way Thomas Troxell's kind of running this race today, he's doing a really good job, and the fact that he's running a Kobe Bryant tribute scheme, I think that really helps also in the fact of within the past couple weeks, you know, what has been happening. I mean, it really looks like he's going strong, and with the Spirits helping him out on that one, I think anything's going to help.
We're going to have to see what Troxell can do driving for Velocistar Racing. They're in their second year in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, making the move from Dodge to Toyota for the Season 9 campaign. Of course, none of their drivers from last season are driving on their team this year. They all are rookies on that team. Thomas Troxell, Shane Lake, and Nathan Faden. However, they're all a lot of experienced rookies at that, so those guys are all going to be threats this year in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. The outside lane is finally formed up. Ryan Durrani getting a good push there from Alexander Rowe, but Christian Vargas, unchartered driver for the newly formed Allen A. Dale Racing, leads this field. Almost 4 wide back in here, and we saw it in the duels. The 4 wide happened very suddenly at many points during the duels, and even in yesterday's Turkey Hill Series race. These guys must be careful not to get put into a situation where a wreck could happen, but right there you see Downey, our pole sitter, move up to the middle lane and allow Jesse Turner to make a move on the inside lane. Turner has Mark Davidson and Herja Larvin Alonso behind him on the inside lane. Davidson moves up to the middle lane. Interesting move right there. Alexander Rowe with a move on the 60 of Ryan Durrani. He's got to run for second.
Yeah, the way at the moment Alexander Rowe's doing on Durrani and now going for the lead, I mean, doing it out on his own, I don't know if that's going to be 100% a foolproof idea or not because of this new package. Now, I can definitely say that with this new package, you know, some of the guys in this field for a little bit couldn't touch Christian Vargas only because, you know, that's just the way the package is. So you definitely say that this package is the guy in second is going to be the hardest working driver but the least bit paid. But you can kind of see right here, making it a little bit interesting, Alexander Rowe trying to find a way to get around, and he can't.
He does have some help, though. Gatlin Downey getting a run back to the inside. He fell back a little bit, but our pole sitter is finding his way back through the field. A couple of Velocity Racing drivers here. Troxel still in the middle. Nathan Faden moving his way to the inside of Daniel McMillan. And it's definitely starting to solidify out here, but we got some 4 wide action going to go on right here. Nathan Faden going to push Gatlin Downey up the racetrack. Of course, Downey made the decision to move up on Troxel. This might not work out too well. This is far up in the pack. They're 4 wide down the backstretch still. Defending champion Nathan Baird on the outside lane with Thomas Troxel, Gatlin Downey, and Nathan Faden 4 wide on the inside lane. And we are heading in to turn number 4, and you know that is the trouble spot for when we have 4 wide off the corner. Downey and Troxel will not get out of it, and around they go. Troxel spinning. McMillan's around. Silas Orta caught up. More drivers in the back getting involved. Eli Bright. We got some guys in the grass. Shane Lake, Cameron Garlington with damage. Wyatt Quayle as well. Nathan Stapleton and Brad Stover and Zachary Fitzwater, the Season 7 Daytona 500 champion, also caught up. Dalio with a little bit of damage as Mitchell Henderson is all torn up in the 47. It wasn't a very vicious accident, but a lot of drivers caught up here on our first caution in the Daytona 500 on lap number 9. Wow. Garlington torn up in the 34 machine. He was in the back. Great to see Cameron Garlington return, the Season 6 Daytona 500 champion. But you see the 33 Eli Bright, his second Daytona 500. I did make the mistake throughout Speed Weeks that he was a rookie in the Chick-fil-A Cup. That is not the case. This is his second season. He was in season number 6. Shane Lake for Velocity Racing also involved in that one. Dalio and McMillan got a piece of it, but those guys seem to be pretty good. Thomas Troxel on the 35. That's a disappointing one right there. Had such a good run going for him right there in his first Daytona 500, and he has a ton of damage in the Velocity Racing Toyota. And Mitchell Henderson in the 47. He gained a lot of that damage late in the going, but unfortunately it looks like he is going to be done for the day here in the Daytona 500. Here we go. Pit stops, and this will most likely be the set of pit stops that we will see in this race with all the caution laps that we will have throughout the day. I would imagine that this is going to be all that they need. It looks like one driver just decided to top off. It's Nicholas Amadio in the 48, coming off the pit lane first, and he will most likely lead the field of the restart when we get back to racing here in the Daytona 500. So with all of that ensuing there through the tri-oval, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here in the Season 9 Chick-fil-A Cup Series Daytona 500. Nicholas Amadio, the Season 2 winner of this race, leads the field a fifth of the way through the Great American Race.
Well, it looks like the usual deal that happens here at Daytona. 4 wide, and it doesn't work out. As they're coming out of turn 4 here, you can definitely see a lot of these drivers, Gatlin Downey, kind of just getting pinched and with nowhere to go. Just up into the field, collects those 4, and then you can kind of see in the back many more. You might want to rewind and do a take 2. Alexa, I was not asking your opinion. Jeez.
Unplug her.
Alexa, shut up! She actually did it! Another one for the blooper reel. Alright, let me do it again. Alright, take 2. Hopefully no distractions. It's the usual deal at Daytona here. 4 wide, it does not work. Gatlin Downey just kind of getting pinched up into number 35 of Thomas Troxel. Nathan Baird there, many others, and he just nowhere to go. And you can kind of see a little more in the back. They're kind of just bunching up, trying to check up and all that. And that just kind of creates more disaster. You can see Nathan Stapleton is involved, the number 64 of Ikwan Hazim, and many other drivers, and Wyatt Quayle getting hefty damage as well. But this is the deal that happens at Daytona. You go 4 wide, and unfortunately, it ends this way, and very unfortunate for people like Thomas Troxel, who had a really good showing here in the race today. Kind of looked like there was a little bit of something promising. You look at this 37 here, look at that number 37 of Cody Sill. You know, he's trying to make it through, and a bow gets collected.
No, he missed it, though.
Yeah, but he just squeaks by.
Yeah,
so,
and like I said, it wasn't a very violent accident. A lot of these guys will probably be able to continue. Guys like Whitlock, especially. Whitlock was involved in an accident on Thursday night in the duel, but you see Patrick Smith, driving for Julius Anderson's team, get minimal damage there. Daniel McMillan with minimal damage. John Arndt with minimal damage. Fisher G, last year's Turkey Hill Truck Series champion, got a piece of that one in the number 7. Dale Lightning, I believe, drove through the grass, but you see guys like Brad Stover and Nathan Stapling get caught up. They wrecked again behind the initial wreck, and that's why it was so big. A lot of guys getting caught up in this one here on lap number 9 at Daytona. And you see the 4 wide ahead of these guys, but Patrick Smith and Mitchell Henderson, this is where the second wreck happened, and I don't really believe it was because of the 4 wide, but you just see everyone get involved. Keegan Thompson with a piece of that one. Of course, you saw Fitzwater go around, Fisher G go around, Shane Lake with damage, Cameron Garlington. Of course, Garlington was in the back of the field for this one. And then you see Wyatt Quayle also gain a lot of damage in the 39, Eli Brighton a 33. Wyatt Quayle's ride from last year also torn up heavily. Bartow has rear-end damage to his car, and Samit Ozkin as well. Matt Dahlia with a piece of it too. A good third of the field, at least, involved in this one in one way or another. It's an unfortunate way to start off the Daytona 500. Nathan Stapleton does appear that he will not be in victory lane here today at Daytona.
So we're riding on board here with Zachary Fitzwater and the Kobe Bryant on board. And you can kind of just see, you know, the 4 wide's happening in front of him. And then this second wreck just comes right on in. And he's doing a good job so far, just trying to make his line, make it good. He makes a little bit of contact there. He's trying to avoid it, and then this second group just comes up, and then up and out of nowhere, boom, right into Nathan Stapleton. But it looks like Fitzy's going to try and get away here with minimal damage, which is not that bad. That's actually pretty good for Fitzwater. Hopefully he can get back into contention, and hopefully can for this Daytona 500.
And we will return to the Daytona 500 here for season number 9. Nicholas Amadio, the race leader in the number 48. Let's see who gets it on the restart here in the Daytona 500 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And we are back here at the Daytona International Speedway. Nicholas Amadio, our race leader here in the Great American Race for season number 9. It was all the way back nearly 5 years ago when Nicholas Amadio won this very race in season number 2 by absolutely nothing. You probably already know that by now, but I'm never going to shut up about it. One of the greatest moments of my life. But either way, Nicholas Amadio leads the field. Drivers knocked out from the accident, a lap down, and more means that they are going to be out of the race. Brad Stover in the 99, Thomas Troxel in the 35, Nathan Stapleton in the 97, Mitchell Henderson in the 47, Silas Orta in the number 3, tough break for his return. Wyatt Quayle in the 39, the 33 machine of Eli Bright, and the number 15 of Shane Lake. Those drivers out of the race. 34 drivers on the lead lap all the way back to John Arndt in the 05. I think something that we definitely should watch out for during this green flag run are the lap cars. The closing rate in this package is much more than it was before, and you know how this race is. It usually turns into a chess match where these guys are trying to find their way around the lap traffic. It's going to be even harder because they're going to be closing up to the lap traffic even faster now. Nicholas Amadio, the race leader. Alexander Rowe, poles hitter. Gatlin Downey is 3rd. Seth Cole, Nathan Faden. That's the top 5. We're back to racing in the Great American Race for Season 9.
And already on the restart, we have people just starting to form up groups here. You see Alexander Rowe going to the inside of Nicholas Amadio here for the lead. Looks like he's going to clear him heading down the backstretch, or at least get the edge ahead. And it looks like he will.
Rowe can do. That number 25 has been up front pretty much this entire race. He knows what it's like to be up front right now. Seth Cole, how about this uncharted driver? Of course, he won 3 races in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series last year. But he was a full-time driver last year, not an uncharted driver like he is today, so very interesting to see what he's doing there for NS Racing. Of course, his teammate, Nathan Stapleton's out of the race. But Seth Cole doing a great job in the 98. Rowe doesn't have any help. Sam Medea with help from Herja Larvin Alonso. And Alonso giving a good push to the Season 2 Daytona 500 champion. How about Alonso? He's been in a lot of Daytona 500s. This, I believe, is his 7th. I don't think he was in this race when he was a part-time driver back in Season 3. But you know that Alonso's a good driver. 2-time winner on NAPFan, but also a 2-time champion on NAPFan. I meant to say 2-time Chick-fil-A Cup Series winner. He's won a lot more than just 2 times on NAPFan in general. A lot of guys in this pack, a lot of strong guys in this pack, but it is a small pack. I believe Kukulon will join it, but you see Nathan Baird, Trey Bartow, they've fallen off. Sam and Oskin and Ace Garcia, teammates right there. Fitzwater, McMillan, Patrick Smith, and Reagan Whitlock, they've fallen behind. Same with Fisher G, Cameron Garlington, Dalio, Dale Lightning, John Arndt, LJ Cemento with a lot of damage as well. So a lot of stragglers in this field. Remember, there are only 34 drivers left on the racetrack. But a lot of them got caught up in that wreck, and a lot of them have damage. However, I will say this, we should be good to go on fuel until the end of this race. They all came down and topped off there, so that should be our one scheduled stop for the day here in the Great American Race.
Yeah, you can say that, but at the same time, you also think, like, you know, some people try and be strategizing here more towards the end, and who knows, maybe green flag pit stops could take into effect. But, no, anything is possible. This is the Great American Race. And many people are going to try and do whatever it takes to get the lead. As Alexander Rowe, he's trying to hold on from the number 68 of Ryan Durrani, but it looks like Durrani is going to get the better kind of help here off the turn. As third line is about to start performing here. Tristan Allen stepping out, but it doesn't look like he's really getting much help.
He's got it right there. Bradley Ream and Jesse Turner get put in the sucker hole, as Cody Smart liked to call it yesterday, and that's kind of what it was. Bradley Ream was right there behind Durrani. He moved up to the second lane, and so did Turner, and they fell back. But Alexander Rowe holding on to that outside lane ahead of Ryan Durrani in the 68. This number 25 is looking pretty strong. North State Racing won yesterday. Will they win again today and sweep the 2 major events here in Meliello Speed Weeks?
Anything is possible in this race, and I can tell you that right now. And you can kind of see the last couple times by, Rowe is outbeaten Durrani by the closer margins.
Oh, we got 4 wide again. 4 wide.
Okay.
That's Keegan Thompson, rookie driver. Tristan Allen is there as well. Contact. Alonso in the wall. Alonso around. Nikolai Sykes is also around.
Wreck.
He's going to collect Nathan Faden, and upside down goes the rookie driver. Turner also caught up as well. He's got a ton of damage, and more drivers involved. Salmon Oskin, and hard hit.
Oh!
Andrew Miller in the 24 destroyed as Daniel McMillan came in full throttle on the 24. John Arndt is torn up, and it looks like the 92 of Reagan Whitlock is also torn up as well. My goodness.
Oof. Boy.
Nikolai Sykes took a hard hit there, came back up the racetrack as he spun around. It was Alonso who initially went around. I think a lot of the guys in the back ended up ARCA braking into that pileup. You see, Nathan Baird is destroyed. Cameron Garlington as well. He's going to be done for the day. There's a lot of smoke trailing those race cars. John Arndt with heavy damage in the 05. I don't see him continuing. Brett Sierra, he won his dual race on Thursday. He's all torn up. Dale Lightning with heavy damage in the 38. Reagan Whitlock's all torn up. Nathan Faden, the 3rd Velocity Racing car to get caught up in an accident, and it looks like that's going to take that entire team out. Ace Garcia, Fitzwater got a piece of that one. Patrick Smith and Fisher G. See Alonso with damage. Cody Sill might have gotten a piece of it as well. And Nicholas Samadillo's coming down the top off. I think Samadillo, yeah, he's just topping off on fuel. He might have missed his pit stall during that first run. It's possible because it looks like he's the only one who came down of the guys who have not been involved in any accidents so far today. So many guys caught up in that one. And Samadillo, the only driver who came down who was effectively not caught up in it. Cody Sill, Bradley Ream, and Seth Cole, I think they're all good to go. But you see Dahlia with damage, Fisher G with damage, and all these guys back in here with damage. Dale Lightning, Herja Larvin Alonso, Zachary Fitzwater, LJ Cemento, Ace Garcia, and Patrick Smith. Turner is destroyed in the 77, and Miller also took a hard hit. Diego Yepez also done in the 88. Boy, we're going to have a lot to review once again. Alexander Rowe, the race leader, he's been out front more than anybody else here today. We'll have to see what he can do as this race goes along. There aren't going to be many guys left, and we're still not even halfway through this thing, so let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the second caution of the day in the Season 9 Chick-fil-A Cup Series Daytona 500. Well, no surprise to see this turn into an accident. They were 4 wide off of turn 4 again. And you see Alonso there on the 28 machine on the outside. He has nowhere to go. Keegan Thompson moves up into Tristan Allen. Those guys are fine. They're both still in this race, but Alonso's the guy who went around. He got into Bradley Ream. Ream got some damage there. You're going to see Diego Yepes spin off. He hits the inside wall. But our big focus, you see him right there, hit the inside wall in the number 88 machine. Tough break there for the veteran driver driving for Beast Racing. Nathan Faden came in there on Nikolai Sykes and sent him upside down, and Jesse Turner had absolutely nowhere to go as Faden came up on him. Seth Cole, look at that 98 drive through that accident without any damage at all. Great job for Seth Cole. And looks like Gatlin Downey also avoided a lot of contact in this one as well. Mark Davidson in the 95. I think he avoided it. Same with Cody Sill.
Yeah.
But then back in here, Sam Oskin came in. The 24 of Andrew Miller is going to take a hard hit here from Daniel McMillan. The number 79 runs right into the 24 machine right there. And that's going to effectively end both McMillan's and Miller's day. Fitzwater also got a piece of that one, accumulated more damage. And Nathan Baird also got hit again. I think Kukulon might have just stopped. But so many cars caught up in this one. We had a big wreck not too long before this one. Garlington running in the Brett Sierra. So far, it's been a wreck fest here at Daytona.
4 wide, as one said before, does not work, and it didn't work in this case. As many drivers get collected. Look at Seth Cole. We're about to go on board with him in a minute to get through all that. Nathan Faden going on his lid. Luckily leaning back on all 4s. Bayer getting hit. And of course everybody just piling in at this point. Want to see what Kukulon does here. If we can find him.
I don't see any damage on the 13. I would imagine Kukulon actually slowed down, unlike a lot of the guys involved in that accident. I think I will say this. A lot of those guys who got caught up in the end were going to be slow cars that the lead pack would have had to deal with. They're probably going to get knocked out. A lot of them are probably going to get knocked out because of this accident. We're still going to have a lot of guys out there with damage, and these lead lap cars are going to have to figure out how to get around them as the green flag will fly here shortly. But tough break for so many guys who had great runs. Jesse Turner, Sam Oskin, Andrew Miller were all in the lead pack when that happened. And the only driver of the guys who were not involved in an accident that came down, Bradley Ream got a piece of it, but I believe he's going to be able to continue. But Nicholas Samadillo came down. He's pretty much the only longtime veteran left in the field. He's been able to avoid a lot of the damage here today, so we'll have to see what he can do. But first, we're going to go on board with Seth Cole, who avoided this accident in style in that number 98. Let's see what happened.
On board with Seth Cole and the NIRA on board. As you can see here, just the 4 wide just starts forming here, and you can see Seth Cole just backing down, just watching out for Andrew Miller. He sees a flipping Nathan Faden, I should say, and just, man, the way to get through that, he did really good on that.
We'll have to see what Seth Cole can do in this race. He's going to have an opportunity at winning his 4th career Chick-fil-A Cup Series event. But he's got some guys to beat. Alexander Rowe, the race leader. Let's see what happens on the restart here in the Daytona 500 for Season 9 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We're back here at Daytona. Daytona 500 just getting underway. We're not even halfway through the race. Taking us a little while to get to this point. 2 wrecks already, 2 massive accidents. Take out quite a few guys in that accident. Beginning with the number 12 of Nathan Faden all the way down. Brett Sierra is out. John Arndt is out. Nathan Baird, our defending champion, is out. Jesse Turner is out. Sam Oskin is out. Nikolai Sykes went flying through the air. He's out. Diego Yepes is out. Andrew Miller is out. Daniel McMillan, Reagan Whitlock, and Cameron Garlington all out of the race. Everyone else, only 22 drivers left in this race. Still on the lead lap. You see the guys with damage. Matt Dalio. Fisher G has a bit of damage. Dale Lightning, Herjo Larvin Alonso, Zachary Fitzwater, LJ Semedo, Ace Garcia, Patrick Smith. All those guys have damage in the back of the field. And if this race continues to go green for quite a while, they will definitely be a factor in who wins this race. But Alex in a row, he's led the most laps so far here today, looking for that extra bonus point towards the championship. He leads the field in the number 25 with Ryan Durrani in his first Daytona 500 right behind him. Ikhwan has him in the 64, his first Daytona 500. Same with Keegan Thompson, and Tristan Allen still in this thing for Allen A. Dale Racing, currently in the 5th position. Back to racing here at Daytona, with now 29 laps to go. I had to do the math there. 29 to go here in the Great American Race.
And you can see on the restart here, Ikhwan has him just trying to jump down to the bottom to see if he can have a little challenge going on between him and Alexander Rowe. You can kind of see just not really that much help at the moment, but you can see a lot of these guys in the back like Trey Bartos, Samadillo, and all them just getting through it. And now, as you can see, they're forming the middle lane, and there we go. That's going to be the freight train line to the back there for Ikhwan Hasem.
Not necessarily. He's got help there from Christian Vargas. Vargas and Allen are teammates there at Allen A. Dale Racing. Not really helping each other out right now. I think everyone from Bradley Ream on up has a shot at winning this race. I hope they don't go 4 wide again. There's no need to do so in such a small pack like this. But here's a guy we have yet to talk about in this race. Trey Bartow, who did an excellent job in the booth yesterday for the Turkey Hill Series race. Thank you once again, my good man, for joining us yesterday. But I thought he had some damage from that first accident, but he's riding in this pack just fine. He's got Nicholas Samadillo right behind him, a couple of old-timers right there in the middle, trying to see what they can do on these rookies. Both of the Father Fruit Motorsport drivers are still in this thing. Mark Davidson and Keegan Thompson. Of course, Davidson, a veteran to the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, but Thompson, his first ever Chick-fil-A Cup Series start. He's also still in contention. Our pole sitter still in contention. Gatlin Downey, he's the only Hamill Racing Enterprises driver in this pack. You got the 98 machine there of Seth Cole. Both uncharted drivers are still in contention. Then Kukalon in the number 13. You know he's good at Daytona. He's won the Turkey Hill Truck Series opening race here and the Turkey Hill Series opening race here in past years. And Bradley Ream, how about this, in the car that won the championship last year when it was driven by Nathan Baird. He's at the back of this field with a shot at a Daytona 500 victory. I'll tell you, one guy who's trying to move his way through the field and doing a pretty good job of it is Trey Bartow in the number 4. Almost inside the top 5 right now for Titan Fury Motorsports. He's the only. Actually, I'm wrong about that. You got Kukalon in here as well. He's not the only Titan Fury guy in this pack. But I will tell you one guy who's in this pack that's doing a great job. That is Alexander Rowe. He looks to have the strongest car here today in the Daytona 500.
Yeah, the way Rowe is just kind of performing right now, he's doing a really good job at leading the pack here, holding on to it. And you see Ikhwan Hasem, who's currently just sitting along in second right now. He's doing a really good job in his first Daytona 500. Just kind of riding along right there in second, staying in the draft of Alexander Rowe. But I can tell you right now, like, that won't last as long as you think.
Yeah, here's the thing. I just want to mention this. I think Samadillo might have come down and taken tires, and I think that's actually given him a little speed there in the 48. He started the back of this pack, and now he's already up the 3rd. Samadillo going to have some help there from Christian Vargas, and you got Samadillo and Bartow in this pack, Alexander Rowe, Tristan Allen, Cody Sill. Those are the most experienced guys in this pack. Where's Mark Davidson, Christian Vargas, Seth Cole, Kukalon? They've all been in Daytona 500s before. The rest of them, this is their first ever Chick-fil-A Cup Series start here today. So a lot of rookies and a lot of veterans in this lead pack, but they're all being led by a veteran in Alexander Rowe, who led at the halfway point the last lap. We are now halfway through the Daytona 500 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series.
Yeah, so far we just reaching the halfway mark. Has actually been something rather impressive that we've actually done, considering the fact. And alright, we cut it here. Apparently my family needs me.
Oh man, well, we'll miss you, man. Sorry, we'll have to see you later. But thank you so much for joining me here But we got to keep on going here with this one because it's an interesting race. But huge thank you to Alex Box here for joining us here in the first half. And hopefully be part of some more during the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season. Meanwhile, Nicholas Samadio in the number 48 moving his way to the inside for the race lead on Alexander Rowe. How about that for Samadio? And like I mentioned, those fresh tires definitely giving him the advantage. And I think he might take this lead away from Alexander Rowe. But he's got Christian Vargas behind him. How about this uncharted driver? He has been up front pretty much this entire race. We'll have to see if that 08 machine can have a shot at a Daytona 500. He won a race in the IndyCar Series last year. We'll have to see what he can do this year in the IndyCar Series, and imagine he's going to return. But he's also going to be in the Turkey Hill Series. He was racing yesterday in the Turkey Hill Series race, the Florida's Natural 300. I believe he got wrecked out on that one because of all the wrecks we had. No surprise to see him get knocked out. But still, Vargas doing a great job here today as an uncharted driver right behind Nicholas Samadio in the number 48. And here we go. This is where the chess match is going to begin. You see LJ Semedo in his first Daytona 500 and Zachary Fitzwater in the number 8. They are ahead of these guys. They are going to get split. Not every day you see a big pack like that avoid lap traffic like that. Gatlin Downey getting squeezed a little bit there by Zachary Fitzwater, but they all kept it together. But with that, single file out front, new leader in the Daytona 500, it is Nicholas Samadio. But here comes Christian Vargas. Vargas, he has absolutely nothing to lose here today for Alan A. Dale Racing. He's going to go for broke and try to take this lead away from the veteran driver. Nicholas Samadio almost won the Season 5 Daytona 500. As a matter of fact, I believe he led at the white flag of that race, but lost it to Josh Marzak. Marzak also won this race last year. They don't have to worry about Marzak today. He's not racing in this year's Daytona 500. 20 laps to go. Vargas at the line, getting it on Samadio for that lap lead. Mark Davidson in the number 95 right behind him. How about Davidson in this race? And a great run for him. For Father Fruit Motorsports, his second season. Of course, he had a very good season last year, won the Coca-Cola 600 and finished top 5 in points at the end of the year. He's got Tristan Allen in this pack as well. Wouldn't it be something if Tristan Allen were to win his first career Napa Fan, or should I say first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series race here today in the Daytona 500? That would definitely be something. Ryan Durrani there, Seth Cole on the inside, Bradley Ream as well. Gatlin Downey has lost the draft, and he got held there by Zachary Fitzwater, and that is going to effectively ruin his chances of winning this race, only unless this lead pack runs into more lap traffic. And you got Dale Lightning and Matt Dalio farther up ahead, but they are a little ways ahead of the field right now. They are currently 26 and 27 seconds behind respectively. Side by side for the race lead, Samadio and Christian Vargas. The inside lane losing a little bit of ground right there as the 68 of Ryan Durrani peeked out. And that inside lane lost a little bit of momentum. But Vargas seems to keep the advantage in the 08 machine here. He's going to lead yet another lap. It's between Vargas and Samadio for this top position right now. And this right here, this is exactly what we were going for when we came up with this package idea. And when we did this range of ratings in the Truck Series, this is exactly what we got. Zachary Fitzwater and John Arndt stayed up front pretty much that entire race and dominated it. And this is what we're seeing right now with Samadio and Vargas. They are the two strongest guys at the moment, and they are leading this field. However, we got more four wide. Durrani and Allen. Tristan Allen in the middle of all this. He's going to get pushed into Haslam, and around goes the 68 and the 06. Tristan Allen's he's not going to save it. Durrani sideways on the racetrack. Hopefully he gets it together before anybody comes around. He will. But the caution will fly here at Daytona. Ooh, boy. Oh, man, that's close right there with Gatlin Downey. The 08 machine here of Tristan Allen. Heavy damage, but not severe damage on the 06. That's a tough one for him. He was in that lead draft. That's the second time he's been put in a four-wide situation here today. And Ryan Durrani and the 68 as well. But both of those guys will be able to continue, and the leader at the line was Christian Vargas, able to edge out Samadio at the line. And I would imagine that these guys are going to be able to make it to the end of the race without having to come back down again. So that is going to do it for pit stops. That's going to give us a breather here, and a good opportunity to have a good battle to the line. Iquan has him with damage in the 64. That's a tough break for the rookie driver. He was in the middle of all that as they were coming off of turn number 4. That's where all the accidents have taken place today, and it looks like Kukulon also got some damage in the number 13. A tough break for those guys involved, but they should be able to get their damage repaired and salvage a decent finish here today in the Daytona 500. So those guys come down. We're not going to have too much to review. We'll see if we can get another guy in the booth here and finish this race out for us. But either way, we're still here. We're going to have 15 laps to go next time by, and we're going to go ahead and review the accident that just took place here to bring out the third caution of the day here in the Season 9 Chick-fil-A Cup Series Daytona 500. And you see right here was Ryan Durrani shot up and allowed Seth Cole to move to the inside of him here and got that bit of contact with Tristan Allen. They did a pretty good job. I mean, they only could do so much. Allen was put in a really tough situation, and he did all he could to avoid an accident. But unfortunately, he could not avoid it. Durrani kept on moving up. And Allen got bumped around there in between Durrani and Haslam. A lot of damage on the 64 right there. And then finally, it all broke loose. And Durrani went around with Tristan Allen getting spun off by the front bumper of Cody Sill. That might affect Cody Sill's chances at winning this race. It's looking like it might be between 3 drivers here. And that's Nicholas Samadillo, Alexander Rowe, and our leader, Christian Vargas. I have a feeling it's going to end up being one of those guys. But you see right there, Tristan Allen in the outside wall. He almost saved it, but it could have been a lot worse for both of these drivers. And this has been, this one right here, the mildest wreck we have seen all day in the Daytona 500. We'll replay this one more time, and then we'll get to the restart here in the Great American Race. Durrani just pushing up on Allen and around, going the 68, and a tough break for those guys. I always say it's a tough break for those guys. I don't have anything else to say. I just feel bad for him, especially Tristan Allen. I mean, this guy has come so close so many times and still has not won a points-paying race in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. I'm not sure when it's ever going to happen for him, but it's going to happen someday. Hopefully this year. We'll just have to see. Either way, the race back to the line was Christian Vargas. He barely edged out Nicholas Samadillo, giving Samadillo a taste of his own medicine, but the race is not over yet. And you got Nicholas Samadillo in contention here, and I'm telling you, Mr. Edge might find a way to get to that inside and win this race, his second Daytona 500, if he can pull it off. Not many guys still left in this thing, but a lot of solid drivers still left in this race. It has been one wacky race to end off the Chick-fil-A Cup Series side of Meliello Speed Weeks, but we're going to end it off here very soon. Less than 15 laps to go when we restart here in the Season 9 Daytona 500. And we are back here at the Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing, and I gotta tell you, man, it's a little frustrating Alex had to pop out. I know it's nothing he can do, but I've been trying to get this thing done for quite a while, and it's the biggest race of the year, but it's just gonna be me for the finish, just like good old times. Why don't we just look at it that way? And we got some good old faces up front here. Top 6 are all veterans of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Highest rookie Bradley Ream. And you'll see the 06 and the 68 head to the back of the pack. They are still on the lead lap. We have now 20 drivers on the lead lap with Fitzwater and LJ Semedo both a lap down. And we are going to have now 13 laps to go when we cross the line this time by. Fuel should not be an issue. And hopefully, lap traffic will not be an issue in these final 13 laps. But the season's just getting started. Next week, we head to Las Vegas for our second race of the season. But now, these guys are focusing on the Daytona 500 victory. They're not so focusing at all on the rest of the season. Especially this guy, since he's an uncharted driver. Christian Vargas, Nicholas Samadillo, Alexander Rowe, Mark Davidson, and Seth Cole. Both uncharted drivers inside the top 5 for these final 13 laps. Will, for the first time ever, an uncharted driver win the Daytona 500. Vargas with a great jump, but that's not what you want. These guys are going to be closing in fast, and Alexander Rowe One of the most dominant guys in this race so far. Going to move to the inside of San Mateo for second. North State Racing, they're a solid team here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Like I mentioned, they won yesterday in the Turkey Hill Series race with their driver Trey Smith. No help for San Mateo, though. Will Bartow go down and help him? He will not. Seth Cole's lost a lot of ground there. Keegan Thompson's up here, highest rookie in the field. And they're shuffling. Bartow going 3 wide to the inside of San Mateo. Rowe had a really good run on the 48 machine. They're side by side for second. Vargas remains out front, 12 laps to go, and a lot of help there in that inside lane. Alexander Rowe, Trey Bartow, Keegan Thompson, and Seth Cole. And powering right to the inside. Alexander Rowe's going to take the lead away, and now Bartow's going to have a shot at the race lead. Trey Bartow, he's been in every single Daytona 500. He's never even come close to winning this race, but here he is, coming to 11 laps to go, to the inside for the race lead in the Daytona 500. Keegan Thompson is here as well, the number 5 machine. Rookie driver, his first ever Chick-fil-A Cup Series start for Father Fruit Motorsports. He's looking strong, but he cannot get to the inside of Bartow. And it's Alexander Rowe at the line, leading lap 39, 11 laps to go. In the Great American Race, who is it gonna be? How about this? Trey Bartow with a shot at the biggest win of his career. He's won a Turkey Hill Series championship, but he's never won a major race before. Never won the Chick-fil-A Cup Series championship either. So this guy would definitely love to be in victory lane here today. However, he's losing help there in the inside lane. Keegan Thompson and Seth Cole, not enough to help that forward. And Alexander Rowe continuing to lead this race in the 25. But Christian Vargas in the 08 still has a shot at this race victory. The 48 of Nicholas San Mateo does as well. All these guys do in this lead pack. Even Cody Sill, I think, still has a chance. But everybody else, they're out of contention. They have lost the lead draft, and with only 10 laps to go, I don't see him coming back. Here's San Mateo moving to the inside of Vargas for second. He has no help, though. Will Bartow close in and give a push to the 48? We'll have to see. San Mateo continues to roll that inside lane. He's got a nose on the 25 of Alexander Rowe, and Bartow will come in with a push. San Mateo was behind on the third row on the outside lane, I should say, and he cut back down and went right to the inside of Alexander Rowe for the race lead. But Rowe continuing to hold on in that outside lane. And 3 wide for the race lead. Trey Bartow now with the run. Alexander Rowe, Nicholas San Mateo, and Trey Bartow 3 wide for the race lead in the Daytona 500. San Mateo's going to have to side draft the 25 if he's going to have any shot. Keegan Thompson and Bradley Ream are going to stick through the middle, and Bartow's going to slip back. Where will they catch up the lap traffic? There's LJ Cimento. He's crossing the start-finish line now, and they are entering turn number 3 for the leaders. Next time by, we will have now 8 laps to go in this race here in the Daytona 500. Nicholas San Mateo to the inside of Alexander Rowe. Keegan Thompson's here. Trey Bartow is here as well. Bradley Ream. Pole sitter Gatlin Downey trying to become the second pole sitter to win the Daytona 500. But remember what I said there when we were reviewing that accident. I really do think this race is between 3 guys. Alexander Rowe, Nicholas San Mateo, and Christian Vargas. Those have been the 3 strongest guys all day long, and they all have a shot at winning the Great American Race. Now they're going to split them. 3 wide. Keegan Thompson trying to make a move on the inside of San Mateo. He lost his help there from Trey Bartow. Davidson now goes back to the outside lane, and San Mateo's left out to dry. No help on that inside. We mentioned this, I think we mentioned this in the Turkey Hill Series race. The outside lane is the better line because it has all the help. Those guys, they can't move to the inside as easily, can't move out of line as easily as the inside lane can. And lots of times that outside lane is the strong line. Christian Vargas going to clear the inside, now try to move to the inside of Alexander Rowe for the race lead. Do not count out Mark Davidson. Nicholas San Mateo still in this thing, same with Trey Bartow, but Bartow trying to make a move. I don't know what he's thinking. You got to help the guy if you want to get to the lead. The inside lane starting to form back up again. Bradley Ream and Seth Cole kind of stuck behind all of this. Gatlin Downey, Cody Sills lost the draft. And then there's Keegan Thompson in the 5. How about the dark horses of Keegan Thompson and Bradley Ream? Both rookies of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and there they go! They closed up to Cimento very quickly. Keegan Thompson's going to lose the draft, and we're now down to 6 drivers in contention for the Daytona 500. There's Zachary Fitzwater. They're going to close in on Fitzwater as well. We're going to have to see how they deal with the number 8 machine. But Alexander Rowe trying to work that outside lane. Help from Mark Davidson. Vargas to the inside of him. Nicholas Amadeo, Trey Bartow, Bradley Ream. How about this for Bradley Ream? Such a great outing regardless of what happens to him in this race. Vargas has the push on the inside now. The inside lane has more help. They're going to split the 8. Alexander Rowe lost a little bit of ground right there. But he's still in contention. However, he might fall to the back of the pack. Next guy in line, Dale Lightning and Matt Dalio. 5 laps to go in the Daytona 500 for Christian Vargas in the 08 machine. But he has to beat Nicholas Amadeo and Trey Bartow if he's going to get this win. Mark Davidson in the 95, going to move to the inside. The outside lane prevails still. Rowe trying to get back to the race lead. He's going to push Nicholas Amadeo on the inside. But it's unchartered driver Christian Vargas leading the field in the 08. It's going to be 4 laps to go next time by. How will Christian Vargas manage this race? An unchartered driver, nothing to lose for Alan A. Dale Racing. Will it be Vargas or will it be somebody else? How about Trey Bartow in the number 4? Single file, he's going to get a good run on the 08 machine to the inside. 3.5 laps to go, and now Trey Bartow with a shot at the Daytona 500 victory. But he doesn't have any help on the inside. They keep on moving up to the outside lane, and that's where Vargas is blocking. However, that inside lane has more help this time. Davidson, now Sam Amadeo moving up to the outside. He doesn't know where he wants to go. They're going to close in on Dale Lightning and Matt Dalio as well. Will that affect the outside lane or the inside lane? That's the big question. Vargas still leads. 3 laps to go in the Daytona 500 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. You know what? They may end up holding up both lines. But out of nowhere, Alexander Rowe has found his way back to second. And now he's going to go to the inside for the race lead. Sam Amadeo and Bartow getting held up right there. And Rowe getting in the Dalio. Contact made. Mark Davidson in the 95 coming on the inside lane. Both lanes are held up. Both lanes are held up by lap traffic. Dale Lightning, Matt Dalio holding up the lead draft. Alexander Rowe continuing to lead the race. He's going to work the inside. To the inside of Dale Lightning, he'll go. Christian Vargas getting held up by Matt Dalio. That has got to hurt. He had such a good run in this race, and because of lap traffic, he's going to lose his chance. He's going to be the last guy to get around, everyone. Unbelievable for Christian Vargas. 2 laps to go. It's Alexander Rowe back out front in the number 25 for North State Racing. Mark Davidson in second. Bradley Ream in third. Trey Bartow and Nicholas Amadeo. They might have lost the draft. They might be too far behind to have a shot. But I'll tell you this, Vargas is not going to win this race. To the inside, Mark Davidson on Alexander Rowe as they come to the white flag in the Daytona 500. Who's going to win this race? 1 lap to go, and it's Alexander Rowe, the dominant guy of the day, who leads it at the white flag. But here comes Trey Bartow. He has a full head of steam. He's going to try to push Davidson to the inside of Rowe, but Rowe clears on the outside lane. The 25 seems to have the strongest car. Bartow's going to try on the inside, and Bartow's going to have some help here from Nicholas Amadeo, or will he? Amadeo's going to try to move to the inside of Bartow, and I think that might seal it. Davidson's going to clear Bartow, and Alexander Rowe is out of here. His 4th Daytona 500, and a dominating performance. North State Racing, they're going to sweep the Speed Weeks. And it's going to be Alexander Rowe, your Daytona 500 champion for Season 9 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. How about that? He got held up. He fell to the end of the pack, but he rallied from behind and came back to win it in the number 25. And how about the weekend for Davey Johnson and North State Racing? They won yesterday in the Turkey Hill Series event, and they won today with their veteran driver of Alexander Rowe. The number 25 will go to victory lane here today in the Season 9 Daytona 500. What a race. That got good at the end with all those guys trying to find their lines and find their way to the inside lane, to the advantage, but the outside lanes, you could tell that whole way through was the strongest line, and Alexander Rowe going to do his victory lap. He has won the Daytona 500 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. This guy is a veteran, and I gotta be honest, I'm a little surprised he decided to return. Didn't think he was gonna come back. Well, I'm sure that he is glad that he decided to come back for season number 9 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. He is a Daytona 500 champion, putting his name up there with the likes of Zachary Fitzwater, Josh Marzak, Jesse Turner, Nicholas Samedillo, Gabriel Wanderley, Cody Hagan, and Cameron Garlington. Alexander Rowe has won the Daytona 500. Like I mentioned, what a week it has been for North State Racing. They won yesterday. And Alexander Rowe getting it done for him here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. That's definitely the highlight of Davey Johnson's owning career here on Napa Fan. Alexander Rowe getting it done, and it's fitting that he was the winner. He was the most dominant guy in this race. Sure, you can say Christian Vargas had the best shot at winning this thing, but I think Alexander Rowe led the most laps as well, so he'll get maximum points heading into Las Vegas. That's exactly what you want in this championship hunt. And how about Alexander Rowe and what he has done here today in the Daytona 500? Take a look at the official standings of the race right there. Alexander Rowe ahead of Mark Davidson. Davidson was more of a dark horse there at the end. He never led a lap in this race, but he managed to finish second. But Bartow and Samedillo, the two veterans there, they could never work that inside correctly. I think if Samedillo stuck with Bartow in that final lap, he might have had a shot at pushing Bartow to the inside for the race lead, but he couldn't do it. How about Bradley Ream finishing top 5? And Christian Vargas, this is one that hurts the most because Vargas is not in it for points. He had a really good chance of winning this race, but got held up by lap traffic near the end. He's not going to be too happy with those guys, but unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. Keegan Thompson, Gatlin Downey, our pole sitter. There's a lot of value in winning the pole for this race, and you see right there as he finished in the 8th position. Seth Cole, the other uncharted driver in the race, finishing 9th, and Ryan Durrani, who was involved in that accident that brought out the 3rd caution, ended up with a top 10 finish. As you take a look at the rest of the results, and you see all the guys getting knocked out from this race, all the way down from Nathan Faden to Shane Lake. Nearly 20 drivers. As a matter of fact, 20 drivers exactly getting knocked out here tonight in the Daytona 500. Wow. That was one heck of a show, like I said it would be at the top of the show. Definitely a strange Daytona 500, but still a good one, like it always is. And we thank you so much for joining us here. And the Chick-fil-A Cup Series is just getting started. The NOFSRL is just getting started. As you take a look at the points right there, Alexander Rowe with the advantage in the championship standings to start off the season. I'm not entirely sure how the Owners' Championship's going to look. The new system this year where we're organizing the teams by their highest finisher and their average. So they're getting 2 sets of points in each race. I would imagine North State Racing is going to get a pretty good position in the Owners' Championship, but they might not necessarily be the championship leaders over there. We'll have to see, but wow, what a race. Another Daytona 500 has finished, and it's Alexander Rowe, your champion of the Season 9 Great American Race. Congratulations to Alexander Rowe, North State Racing, and Davey Johnson. They have won the Daytona 500 here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We thank you guys so much for watching. The next race here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series is going to be the Braille Battery 400 from Las Vegas. That's going to be next Saturday afternoon. Only a 54-lap race there. We're going to go back to 20% of the length for a majority of the races this season. But it's going to be a good one there from the Diamond in the Desert. Going to be the second race of the season this year instead of the third race. So we traditionally always go on to Atlanta after Daytona. Not going to be the case this year since NASCAR changed the schedule up for this season. We're going to go ahead and roll along with them and head west. Going to have a little West Coast swing with Vegas, Auto Club, and Phoenix coming up next 3 weeks here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow, over on Marty Zakala's channel, it's a New Era Cup Series Daytona 500, and if you like this race, you're going to love that one. And, yeah, that's about all I can plug. Congratulations to Alexander Rowe once again. Thank you to Alex Bontenor. I'm sorry he had to peek out late there and head off and do his own thing, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. Kind of like old times doing this race by myself. I know we had 4 people in the booth yesterday for the Turkey Hill Series race, and it was just me to finish this one out. Just like good old times back in the day when it was just me before we did go commentators. And hey, you know what? It was a great race, and that's what counts. And you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And that's also what counts. God bless you all. You're some of the best people I know. And we're going to keep on rolling here in 2020 in the NOFSRL. We'll take you all the way to Darlington in September for this Chick-fil-A Cup Series Championship. Congratulations to Alex in a row once again. And I will see you guys in the next one. Next week, head to Vegas for the Turkey Hill Series and the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Thank you so much for watching the Daytona 500 here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Season number 9. Here is the closing credits. All we do now is just show Alex in a row crossing the start finish line. But that is it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. On behalf of Alex Bonsignor, I will see you guys later.